Today's Sunshine Note is titled, So Happy About a Stolen Car. Perhaps the reason he was separated from you for a little while was that you might have him back for good, no longer as a slave, but better than a slave, as a dear brother. He is very dear to me, but even dearer to you, both as a man and as a brother in the Lord. Philemon chapter 1 verse 15 and 16. I have a love-hate relationship with my car. We've had our issues. There have been days when it dies or runs rough or seems to drink up way too much gas. I've considered getting a different car more than once, but I never do because it's just easier to keep it. Early one Sunday morning, I was on a run to the grocery store. As I fumbled for my keys and headed for the car, I was suddenly confronted with an empty driveway and realized that someone had stolen it. My first thought was, good, I can use the insurance for something better. But then I thought about all the stuff in my car and the little knickknacks that had accumulated over the years. As I called the police and described the car, I even felt a little nostalgic, thinking of all the trips we'd taken in it across the country. I was surprisingly excited when the police called in less than an hour. We found it in a parking lot 5 miles from there. Sometimes you don't realize you want to keep something until it's taken away from you. That's kind of what happened with Philemon, the man Paul wrote a letter to whose slave had run away after stealing from his master. Paul encouraged Philemon to take Onesimus, his slave, back without any hard feelings. From the letter, we get the idea that Philemon was pretty upset with Onesimus, but grew to miss his company and his usefulness around the house. Paul is sticking up for Onesimus here, and he also informs Philemon that his former slave has become a Christian since he's been away. From the tone of Paul's letter, we can assume that Philemon is indeed eager for Onesimus to return, but his feelings have changed and more than likely he will welcome him back, no longer as a slave, but as a brother and fellow Christian. But until Onesimus was gone, Philemon didn't know how much he wanted him around. I often feel like this when I skip devotions, and the value of God in my life is much more acute when I notice that I haven't been meeting with Him. My life is a better ride when I include Him, and sometimes I notice it only once it's been gone for a while. It's a sad state of our fickle human nature, but thankfully, God is always ready and willing to jump back in with us. May God bless you today.